The big alien warships floated in space above the destroyed planet. Below them, the human colony called Kepler 442b was burning. Smoke rose from the cities. Buildings were broken and empty. The planet looked dead. Supreme Commander Throcknar stood on his ship and looked at the screens. He felt very happy. The alien leader had 4 eyes, and all of them were shining with joy. His race, the Vraxians, had won another battle. They had destroyed the human colony in just a few hours. His helper, Zarvek, walked up to him. The smaller alien made clicking sounds with his mouthparts. "The humans tried to fight us," Zarvek said. "But they were too weak. We destroyed their defenses easily. Their main city is now just ash and dust. No one is fighting anymore." Throcknar felt proud. The Vraxian Empire was very strong. In the last year and a half, they had taken over 17 different star systems. They had beaten many different alien races. The humans were just another weak species. They were new to space travel. They did not know how to fight a real war. "Get the soldiers ready," Throcknar told his crew. "Tomorrow we will land on the planet. We will take control of everything. This planet will belong to our empire now." Throcknar did not know something very important. Far away on the other side of the galaxy, human leaders were watching the same pictures of Kepler 442b. But they were not sad. They were not angry. They were waiting. Everything was going exactly as they had planned. On a big military station that circled Earth, Admiral Kim Min-soo sat in a dark room. He was watching videos of the burning planet on big screens. Min-soo was an older man with gray hair and tired eyes. He had fought in many wars. He knew how battles worked. Next to him sat Colonel Park Jae-won. She was looking at her electronic tablet. Her face was calm and cold. "They did exactly what we wanted them to do, sir," she said. Min-soo nodded his head slowly. "How many people did we save?" he asked. "All of them, sir. Every single person. All 2.3 million colonists are safe now. They are living on Prometheus Station. The Vraxians think they killed millions of people, but really, they just destroyed empty buildings. We made it look like a real city, but no one was there. It was all fake." A small dark smile appeared on Min-soo's old face. "And what about our defense weapons? We used our oldest and worst weapons. They were 40 years old. The Vraxians probably think that was our best technology. They think they have seen everything we can do." Jiwon's eyes looked bright and dangerous. They have no idea what is really coming for them. Min-soo stood up and pressed a button. A big holographic map appeared in the air. It showed many star systems. Red dots showed where the Vraxian enemy ships were. Blue dots showed where human ships were hiding in deep space, far from any planets or stars. No one could see the blue ships. They were waiting quietly in the dark. "The Vraxians learned how to fight by attacking peaceful species," Min-soo said quietly. "They have never fought against a species like humans. They do not understand what we really are. Humans are predators. We are hunters. We have been fighting and killing each other for thousands and thousands of years. No other species could beat us, so we fought ourselves." He stopped talking for a moment. His face became very serious. "We do not just fight wars. We study them. We practice them. We become perfect at them. Send out the orders. I want every combat ship to come back. Every special forces team. Every single military asset we have in the galaxy. Bring them all home." His voice became very quiet and dangerous. "It is time to show the Vraxians what humans really look like. It is time to stop pretending to be weak. It is time to show them what we can really do." Jiwon stood up straight and gave him a military salute. She turned to walk away, but Min-soo called her back. "Colonel, wait. Tell Captain Lee Dabin to start sending out the message. Use every communication frequency. I want every species in the entire galaxy to hear it." "What message should we send, sir?" Jiwon asked. Min-soo's smile became cold and scary, like a wolf showing its teeth. "Tell them this: the wolves were sleeping. Now they are awake," Jiwon understood. For months, humans had been letting the Vraxians win battles. They had pretended to be weak. They had let the aliens think they were easy to defeat. But it was all a trick, all a plan. The humans were studying their enemy, learning how they fought, understanding their weaknesses. Now the studying was finished. Now it was time to fight for real. Back on his ship, Throcknar was celebrating with his officers. They were drinking special drinks and talking about their great victory. They were planning which star system to attack next. They felt unstoppable. They felt like nothing could beat them. But in deep space, hidden from all sensors, hundreds of human warships were moving. These were not the old, weak ships the Vraxians had fought before. These were new. These were advanced. These were deadly. The ships had weapons that could destroy entire fleets. They had shields that made them almost impossible to hurt. They had technology that was decades ahead of anything the Vraxians had ever seen, and they were all heading toward Kepler 442b. On Earth, in military command centers, human officers were making final preparations. They checked their weapons. They reviewed their battle plans. They made sure every ship knew exactly what to do. This was not going to be a fair fight. The humans did not want a fair fight. They wanted to teach the Vraxians a lesson they would never forget. They wanted every species in the galaxy to know. Never attack humanity. Never think humans are weak. Never believe you have won until the war is truly over. Because humans do not give up. Humans do not surrender. And humans definitely do not lose wars. The Vraxians had made a terrible mistake. They thought destroying one colony meant they had won. They thought the battle was over. They thought the humans were defeated. They were wrong. The battle was not over. In fact, the real battle had not even started yet. The humans were just getting warmed up. And soon, very soon, the Vraxians would understand what that meant. The message went out across the galaxy on every frequency. Every species with the technology to receive it heard the words, "The wolves were sleeping. Now they are awake." Some species understood immediately. They knew what it meant. The humans had been hiding their true strength. Now they were going to show it, and the Vraxians were going to pay a terrible price for what they had done. In his command center, Minsu watched the countdown timer. 48 hours until the human fleet would arrive at Kepler 442b. 48 hours until the Vraxians would learn the truth. 48 hours until everything changed. He thought about all the humans who had died in other wars throughout history. All the soldiers who had fought and sacrificed. All the lessons humanity had learned over thousands of years of conflict. Now all of that knowledge, all of that experience, all of that skill would be used against an alien empire that had never faced a real enemy before. It was almost not fair. But the Vraxians had started this war. They had attacked first. They had tried to kill millions of innocent people. Now they would face the consequences. Now they would learn what happens when you wake up a sleeping predator. The countdown continued. The ships moved through space, and the galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. 2 days passed after the Vraxians destroyed Kepler 442b. Thrucknar and his fleet were still in orbit around the planet. They were getting ready to land soldiers on the surface. Everything seemed peaceful. Everything seemed normal. Then the alarm started screaming. Thrucknar was reading reports about the occupation when the loud warning sounds filled his ship. Red lights flashed everywhere. His crew started running around in panic. Something was very wrong. What is happening? Thrucknar shouted. Zarvek looked at his screens. His face turned pale with fear. "Sir, our sensors are detecting multiple ships. They are coming out of fold space at the edge of the star system." Fold space was how ships traveled very fast between stars. It was like a tunnel through space. Ships could jump into it and appear somewhere far away almost instantly. "How many ships?" Thrucknar asked. His voice was shaking now. "I count 17. No, wait, 23. The number keeps going up." Zarvek's voice was full of panic. "Sir, they are everywhere. They are surrounding us." Thrucknar looked at the holographic display in the center of his bridge. The 3D map showed dozens of new contacts appearing. They were human ships. But these were not the old weak ships the Vraxians had fought 2 days ago. These ships looked completely different. These human warships were sleek and beautiful and deadly. They looked like hunters, like sharks swimming through water. Their hulls were covered with weapons. Big weapons. Weapons the Vraxians had never seen before, sir. "We are receiving a transmission from the humans," the communications officer said. "Put it on the main screen," Thrucknar ordered. A human face appeared on the big screen. It was Captain Choi Sungmin, the commander of the human warship UES Retribution. Sungmin looked at Thrucknar with cold, angry eyes. There was no fear in his face. Only determination. "This is your only warning," Sungmin said. He spoke in perfect Vraxian language. "You have 10 minutes to leave this star system. If you are still here after 10 minutes, we will remove you by force." Thrucknar could not believe what he was hearing. He started laughing. "You think your small group of ships can defeat the entire Vraxian fleet? We destroyed your colony in just a few hours. You are nothing compared to us. Sungmin's expression did not change. His face stayed cold and calm. You did not destroy our colony. You destroyed empty buildings. Every single colonist you think you killed is eating dinner on Prometheus Station right now. You fought against holograms, against fake images. You fought against nothing and you won. Congratulations. All the blood drained from Throcknar's face. His 4 eyes went wide with shock and horror. But that is not why I am here, Sungmin continued. I am here to teach you something about humanity. You see, Commander, humans have been fighting wars since before we even discovered fire. We have spent 10,000 years learning how to kill each other. We thought going into space would change us. We thought it would make us peaceful. He leaned closer to the camera. It did not change us. Space just gave us a bigger battlefield to fight on. Your 10 minutes are up, Sungmin said. All weapons you are free to fire. The human fleet opened fire. What happened next was not really a battle. It was a massacre. It was a demonstration of power. The humans were showing the Vraxians just how strong they really were. Human railguns fired metal slugs at incredible speeds. These slugs punched through Vraxian shields like they were made of paper. Explosions blossomed across Vraxian ships. Missiles streaked through space, moving so fast that Vraxian defense systems could not even track them. They hit their targets with perfect accuracy. The human ships moved together like dancers, like they were all part of one giant organism. They had obviously practiced these maneuvers thousands of times. Every ship knew exactly where to be. Every weapon fired at exactly the right moment. It was beautiful and terrible to watch. On board the UES Retribution, Lieutenant Han Jun sat at the tactical station. She called out targets in a calm mechanical voice. Target Alpha 7 is destroyed. Alpha 8 is crippled and drifting. Moving on to Beta Group, she sounded bored, like this was just another training exercise. Like destroying an entire alien fleet was just routine work. Throcknar watched in complete horror as his fleet fell apart. Ship after ship exploded or went dark. His weapons barely scratched the human shields. His missiles were shot down before they could reach their targets. Nothing was working. They were being completely destroyed. Retreat. All ships retreat. Throcknar screamed into his communication system. Get us out of here. But Sungmin's voice came through the speakers. Negative. You wanted to conquer human space. You wanted to kill our people. Now you will learn what that decision costs. Every ship. Every single one of you. None of you are leaving here alive. The human ships moved to block all the escape routes. The Vraxians were trapped. There was nowhere to run. Nowhere to hide. 20 minutes after the battle started, the last Vraxian ship exploded. The reactor core went critical and turned the ship into a brief new sun. Then there was nothing left. The entire Vraxian fleet was gone, destroyed, erased from existence. The human fleet regrouped in orbit above Kepler 442b. Not a single human ship had been destroyed. Not a single human ship had even been damaged. Their shields were still at full power. Their weapons were still ready to fire. Captain Sungmin opened a communication channel back to Earth. Admiral Minsu's face appeared on the screen. Kepler 442b is now secure, Sir, Sungmin reported. No human casualties. Complete enemy destruction. The Vraxian fleet has been eliminated. Excellent work, Captain, Minsu replied. He sounded pleased but not surprised. How did the new weapons perform? Flawlessly, sir. The Vraxians could not even scratch our shields. Their weapons are at least 50 years behind our technology. Sungmin paused for a moment. Sir, I almost felt sorry for them. They really believed they could win. They had no idea what they were up against. Save your sympathy, Captain, Minsu said. His voice became harder. This was just the opening move. Just the first strike. Now we take the war to them. Now we show them what happens when you attack humanity. Prepare your fleet for deep space operations. We are going into Vraxian territory. We are going to hit them where they live, Sungmin smiled. It was not a friendly smile. Understood, sir. We will be ready. The transmission ended. Sungmin turned to his crew. You heard the Admiral. Plot a course for the Vraxian core systems. We are going hunting. Throughout the ship, the crew cheered. They had won their first real battle. They had shown the galaxy what human warships could really do. And now they were going on the offensive. Now they were going to take the fight to the enemy. Far away on the Vraxian homeworld, news of the disaster was starting to arrive. The Empire had just lost an entire battle fleet. Every single ship, Thousands of soldiers, all gone in less than half an hour, and the humans had not lost anything. Not one ship, not one soldier, nothing. The Vraxian leaders were starting to realize something terrifying. They had not been fighting the real human military. They had been fighting a fake army. The humans had been testing them, studying them, learning their weaknesses. Now the real human military was coming, and the Vraxians had no idea how to stop it. They had just learned that everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong, completely wrong. The humans were not weak. They were not easy to defeat. They were apex predators. They were the most dangerous species in the galaxy. And the Vraxians had just made them very, very angry. The war was just beginning. But for the Vraxian Empire, it was already over. They just did not know it yet. The news reached the Vraxian homeworld like an explosion. The entire planet went into shock. Emperor Vexthar, the supreme ruler of the Vraxian Empire, called an emergency meeting with all his military leaders. He was so angry that his scales were turning dark red. In the great council chamber, all the top military officers gathered. They stood around a large table covered with star maps and battle reports. Everyone looked nervous. No one wanted to speak first. Emperor Vexthar looked at Grand Admiral Krethvar with all four of his eyes. His voice was quiet, but everyone could hear the rage behind it. "Explain to me," he said slowly, "how an entire battle fleet was completely destroyed by the same species we easily defeated just 2 days earlier." Krethvar's scales were shaking. He was terrified. "My Emperor, it appears the humans have been hiding their true capabilities. The technology they used at Kepler 442b is much more advanced than what our intelligence report said they had. They are decades ahead of us." The Emperor's roar shook the entire chamber. "Hiding their capabilities? You are telling me they let us conquer 17 star systems just to trick us? Just to make us feel confident?" Another officer stepped forward. Her name was Zelmoth, and she was the director of fleet intelligence. Her job was to gather information about enemy forces. She looked very worried. "My Emperor, we have intercepted human communications. The colony we destroyed at Kepler 442b was evacuated weeks before we attacked. All the colonists were moved to safety. We did not kill anyone. We only destroyed empty buildings. It was all staged. It was all fake." Complete silence filled the room. No one spoke. No one even breathed. The implications were too terrible to understand. Krethvar continued speaking. "The humans wanted us to attack them. They have been studying our tactics the entire time. They have been learning how we move our fleets, how we fight, what weapons we use. While we thought we were conquering them, they were studying us like scientists study insects." Emperor Vexthar felt fear for the first time in his life. "Where are the human fleets now?" Zelmoth activated a holographic display. A 3D map of the galaxy appeared above the table. Red dots showed Vraxian-controlled systems. Blue dots showed human fleet positions. The blue dots were moving. All of them were moving toward Vraxian space. "They are attacking us everywhere at once," Zelmoth said. Her voice was shaking. "Coordinated strikes across 8 different sectors. They are not trying to take back their lost colonies. They are cutting through our supply lines. They are heading straight for our core systems. They are coming for our homeworld." Just then, a young officer ran into the chamber. He looked terrified. "My Emperor, the 5th Fleet at Draktor has been destroyed. The 7th Fleet is reporting that human forces have arrived at Kelvar Prime. They are requesting immediate reinforcements." Krethvar grabbed the young officer. "How many human ships are at Kelvar?" "Our sensors detected 3 capital ships, my lord." "Only 3 ships? Against an entire fleet?"
"That should be easy to defeat."
The young officer swallowed hard. "Sir, the 7th Fleet stopped transmitting 15 minutes ago. We have lost all contact with them. We believe they are all destroyed. All of them. 3 human ships destroyed our entire 7th Fleet." Emperor Vexthar stared at the galactic map. More and more blue markers kept appearing. The human forces were everywhere. They were like a swarm of predators circling wounded prey, and the Vraxians were the prey. "Order all remaining fleets to fall back to the core systems," Vexthar commanded. "Abandon all the outer territories. Pull everything back to defend the homeworld. We will fortify our position and prepare for—" Another officer burst into the room. "My Emperor, we are receiving a transmission from the humans. They are broadcasting it on all military channels. Every ship in the fleet can hear it." "Show me," Vexthar ordered. A large screen activated. Admiral Kim Min-soo appeared. He was standing on the bridge of his warship, the UES Indomitable. Behind him, through the large windows, Vraxian ships were burning and exploding in space. Emperor Vexthar, Min-soo said calmly, I am broadcasting this message so that every species in the galaxy can hear it. You attacked humanity. You killed what you believed were millions of our people. You celebrated your victory over us. He gestured to the destruction happening behind him. Now I will teach you a lesson. Humanity does not lose wars. It is not in our nature. We have been fighting each other for thousands of years because no other species in the galaxy was strong enough to challenge us. Now you have given us a common enemy. You have united us. Min-soo leaned closer to the camera. His eyes were cold and hard. You wanted to see what humans do when we are threatened. You wanted to test our strength. Now you are going to find out. And I promise you, what you have seen so far is just the beginning. This is just us warming up. The transmission ended. The screen went dark. Emperor Vexthar looked at his council. For the first time in his long reign, he felt true fear. The kind of fear that makes your blood run cold. The kind of fear that tells you that you have made a terrible, terrible mistake. How long until the humans reach our homeworld? He asked quietly. Zelmoth checked her calculations. She looked at the numbers again and again, hoping she was wrong. But she was not wrong. At their current speed and trajectory, 3 weeks, my emperor. Maybe less. 3 weeks, Vexthar repeated. We have 3 weeks to prepare for an enemy that has been perfecting warfare since before they even left their planet. An enemy that is more advanced than us. An enemy that is smarter than us. An enemy that has been planning this for months. He looked around the room at all his military leaders. How do we stop them? No one answered. No one knew. They had never faced an enemy like this before. The Vraxians had always been the strongest. They had always been the predators. Now for the first time they were the prey. Krethvar finally spoke. We pull back every ship we have. Every soldier. Every weapon. We turn our homeworld into the greatest fortress in the galaxy. We prepare for the biggest battle in our history. And if that is not enough, Vexthar asked. Silence. Because everyone in the room knew the answer. If their greatest fortress was not enough, then the Vraxian Empire would fall. Everything they had built over centuries would be destroyed. Their civilization would end. The meeting ended. The officers left to prepare their defenses. But Emperor Vexthar stayed in the chamber alone, staring at the galactic map. The blue markers kept multiplying. More and more human ships, coming from every direction. He had made the worst mistake any leader could make. He had underestimated his enemy. He had thought humans were weak. He had thought they were just another species to conquer. He had been so very, very wrong. The humans had been hiding their strength. They had been pretending to be weak. They had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike back. And now they were coming. Coming for revenge. Coming to teach the galaxy a lesson. Coming to show everyone what happens when you attack humanity. Vexthar looked at the star map one more time. Deep in his heart, he knew the truth. The Vraxian Empire had already lost this war. They had lost it the moment they attacked Kepler 442b. They had lost it the moment they thought they could defeat humanity. Now all they could do was prepare for the end. Prepare for the humans to arrive. Prepare for the storm that was coming. A storm of fire and steel and destruction. A storm called humanity. 3 weeks. That was all the time they had left. 3 weeks until everything changed. 3 weeks until the Vraxian Empire learned the hardest lesson of all. Never ever attack a sleeping predator, because when it wakes up, it will destroy you. The countdown had begun, and there was nothing the Vraxians could do to stop it. Exactly 3 weeks later, the human fleet arrived at the Vraxian homeworld. They did not come as conquerors. They came as executioners. They came to deliver justice. Admiral Kim Min-soo stood on the bridge of his flagship, the UES Indomitable. Through the large windows, he could see the Vraxian homeworld below. It was a beautiful planet with blue oceans and green continents, but right now, it was also the most heavily defended planet in the galaxy. Every defense satellite the Vraxians owned was in orbit. Every orbital weapons platform. Every single warship they could gather. Thousands of ships surrounded the planet like a metal shield. The Vraxians had pulled back all their forces from every corner of their empire. Everything they had was here, protecting their homeworld. Colonel Park Ji-won stood next to Min-soo, studying the tactical displays. I have to admit it is impressive. They turned their entire planet into a fortress. Min-soo nodded. It will not matter. Lieutenant Kang Sora, give me a status report on all our forces. The young communications officer looked up from her station. All fleets are reporting ready, sir. Task Force Vengeance is in position on the left flank. Task Force Hammer is ready on the right flank. And... She paused and a small smile appeared on her face. The Ghost Fleet just decloaked on the far side of the planet. Jiwan grinned. I would love to see the look on their faces right now. On the Vraxian command station, panic erupted. The Ghost Fleet had appeared out of nowhere. One moment the space on the far side of the planet was empty. The next moment it was filled with human warships, ships that had been invisible, ships with stealth technology that should not even exist. These ships had weapons that seemed to break the laws of physics. They had shields that made them almost impossible to damage. They were like ghosts, like demons from a nightmare. Emperor Vexithar sat in the main command station, watching his displays with a sick feeling in his stomach. How many human ships are there? Zelmoth checked her sensors. Her voice was hollow and dead. Over 300 capital ships, my Emperor. Not counting the smaller support vessels. They outnumber us 5-1. And their technology... She could not finish the sentence. There were no words. I know, Vexthar said quietly. He straightened his back. He knew what was coming. Open a communication channel to the human flagship. Admiral Minsu's face appeared on the screen. Admiral, Vexthar said, trying to keep his voice steady. Surely we can negotiate. The Vraxian Empire is willing to discuss terms of peace. We can reach an agreement that— No, Minsu cut him off. His voice was cold and final. You do not understand, Emperor. This is not a negotiation. You attacked us. You tried to commit genocide against our people. Now you will face the consequences. But we are offering to surrender. We will accept any reasonable terms. Minsu laughed. It was a cold, bitter sound. Surrender? Emperor, humanity stopped accepting simple surrender a long time ago. We learned that if you want lasting peace, you have to break your enemy completely. You have to break them so badly that they will never even think about war again. He gestured to someone off-screen. Commander An Minho, show them the demonstration. A small human frigate detached from the main fleet. It moved toward one of the massive Vraxian defense platforms. The platform was huge. It was covered with weapons and armor. It should have been able to defend itself easily against one small ship. The human frigate fired a single weapon. Not a railgun. Not a missile. Something completely new. Something the Vraxians had never seen before. The defense platform simply disappeared. No explosion. No debris, no wreckage. One moment it was there. The next moment it was gone. Erased from existence. As if reality itself had deleted it from the universe. We call it a quantum disruptor, Minsu explained in a conversational tone. It separates matter at the molecular level. Very clean. Very efficient. Very thorough. Would you like to see it again? Vexthar felt all the warmth drain from his body. His scales turned ice cold. What do you want from us? I want your unconditional surrender. I want you to completely dismantle your military. I want reparations paid to every species you have conquered. And you personally will stand trial for war crimes. Minsu's expression became even harder. But most importantly, you will serve as an example. Every species in this galaxy needs to understand what happens when they threaten humanity. And if we refuse, then we demonstrate that the Vraxian Empire no longer exists. Minsu gestured again. On all the Vraxian displays, targeting solutions appeared. Every orbital platform was locked. Every ship. Every military installation. We will leave your civilians alive. But your military, your government, your entire way of life ends today, one way or another. Emperor Vexthar looked at his council. Grand Admiral Krethvar gave a small nod. They had no choice. They could surrender and live, or they could fight and die. There was no third option. We accept your terms, Vexthar said. The words tasted like poison in his mouth. Good, Minsu said. Stand down all your weapons immediately. Prepare to receive our boarding parties. They will take control of all military facilities. And Emperor? Minsu leaned forward toward the camera. You wondered what humanity looks like when we stop pretending to be weak. Now you know. The transmission ended. Jiwan turned to Minsu. Do you think this will stop the next empire that decides to get ambitious? Minsu watched as Vraxian ships powered down their weapons one by one. Thousands of ships going dark. An entire empire surrendering. Probably not. There will always be someone who thinks they can win, but now they will think twice before attacking us, and that is all we can really ask for. Captain Lee Dabin's voice came through the communication system. She was commanding the UES Retribution. Sir, we are receiving communications from 17 different alien species. They are all asking about forming defensive alliances with humanity. A tired smile crossed Minsu's weathered face. Forward those messages to the diplomatic corps. It looks like we are not just warriors anymore. We are also protectors now. Is that such a bad thing? Ji-won asked. No, Minsu admitted. But it means we can never show weakness again. The entire galaxy is watching us now. We proved we can win wars. Now we have to prove we can win the peace too. He looked out at the Vraxian homeworld. Down on the surface, billions of aliens were going about their lives. They did not know yet that their empire had just fallen, that everything had changed, that humanity was now the dominant military power in the galaxy. This was just the beginning of a new era, an era where humanity would have to be strong, where humanity would have to be fair, where humanity would have to be careful not to become the very thing they had just defeated. It would not be easy. Nothing worthwhile ever was, but humanity had proven something important today. They had proven that they could win. They had proven that they could be merciful, and most importantly, they had proven that they could learn from their mistakes. The Vraxian Empire had thought the battle was over when they destroyed Kepler 442b. They thought they had won. They thought humanity was defeated. They were wrong. Humanity had just been getting warmed up, and now the galaxy would remember this day forever. The day the Vraxian Empire fell. The day humanity showed its true strength. The day everything changed. Minsu took a deep breath. Begin landing operations. Get our diplomats down to the surface. We have a lot of work to do. We have to rebuild what was destroyed. We have to help the species that the Vraxians oppressed. We have to show the galaxy that we are not conquerors. And if someone else attacks us? Ji-won asked. Minsu's expression became hard as steel. Then we teach them the same lesson we taught the Vraxians. We show them what happens when you threaten humanity. We show them that we do not lose wars. The war was over. The Vraxian Empire had fallen. But the real work was just beginning. The work of building a lasting peace. The work of creating a galaxy where all species could live safely. The work of making sure that this kind of war would never happen again. It was a big responsibility. Maybe too big. But humanity would try. They would do their best. Because that is what humans do. They face impossible challenges. They overcome incredible odds. They never give up. And now the entire galaxy knew it. 6 months had passed since the Vraxian Empire fell. The galaxy looked completely different now. Things that people thought would never change had changed. New alliances formed. Old fears disappeared. And humanity stood at the center of it all. Admiral Kim Minsu walked through the new Galactic Council chambers on Prometheus Station. This was a place where representatives from different alien species met to discuss important matters. As Minsu walked past them, they watched him carefully. Some looked at him with respect. Others looked at him with fear. Most looked at him with both. These were species that had once thought humans were weak. They had looked down on humanity as newcomers to space. Now they saw the truth. They saw that humans were the strongest military power in the galaxy. And that changed everything. Ambassador Song Hyerim approached him. She wore formal diplomatic robes. Hyerim was responsible for negotiating treaties with other species. Admiral, the Trellin Confederation just signed the Mutual Defense Treaty. That makes 37 species who have joined the Prometheus Accords. The Prometheus Accords were a set of agreements. Species who signed them promised to defend each other. They promised to follow certain rules about warfare. They promised to work together for peace. Excellent work, Ambassador, Minsu replied. He looked at the chamber where alien diplomats were gathering. How is the trial of Emperor Vexthar going? Prosecutor Yoon Taik believes we will have a verdict within the week. The evidence against Vexthar is overwhelming. He clearly committed war crimes. Hyerim paused. Though some species are questioning whether humanity is being too harsh with our punishment. Let them question, Minsu said firmly. But make sure they understand something. We are not being harsh. We are being thorough. The Vraxians tried to commit genocide. They tried to wipe out an entire species. There must be consequences for actions like that. Minsu walked to a large window that looked out over the construction yards. Outside, human and alien workers were building new ships together. These ships combined human military technology with innovations from other species. It was cooperation on a scale never seen before. Colonel Park Ji-won joined him at the window. "It is beautiful, is it not? 6 months ago, we were preparing for total war. Now we are building alliances and friendships. Do not mistake peace for weakness," Min-soo cautioned. "We are building these alliances with our military strength behind us. The galaxy respects us because we are strong. If we become weak, these alliances will fall apart." "That is true," Ji-won agreed. "But I have been reading the intelligence reports. Species across the galaxy are completely reforming their military doctrines. They are studying human tactics. They are reading about human history. They are learning from us. We have fundamentally changed how the entire galaxy thinks about warfare." "That is good," Min-soo said. "An armed galaxy is a polite galaxy. As long as everyone understands that humanity wrote the book on warfare. As long as they remember what happens when they attack us." Min-soo checked the time on his device. "I need to meet with representatives from the former Vraxian colonies." "How are they adapting to independence?" "Better than we expected," Ji-won reported. "Most of them are grateful to be free, though a few are worried about the power vacuum. They are not sure what to do without the Empire controlling them." She hesitated. "Admiral, there is something else. There has been talk among the other species. They want humanity to take a formal leadership role in galactic affairs." "Absolutely not," Min-soo said immediately. His voice was firm. "The last thing this galaxy needs is humanity acting like an empire. We have seen what happens when one species tries to rule over others. The Vraxians showed us exactly where that leads. Then what do we do?" Ji-won asked. "We have the strongest military in the galaxy. We have the most advanced technology. Species are looking to us for protection and guidance." Min-soo thought for a long moment before answering. "We lead by example, not by force. We share our technology, but only with species that prove they will use it responsibly. We maintain our military superiority, but we only use it when absolutely necessary." He turned to face her. "And we make it very clear to everyone. Humanity will defend the weak, but we will not rule them. We will help those who need help, but we will not force our way of life on anyone." A young officer approached them. His name was Lieutenant Shin Woojin, and he worked in intelligence. "Sirs, you need to see this. We have been monitoring deep space transmissions. There is information about a species called the Kalrith. They come from beyond the outer rim. Apparently, they have been watching our war with the Vraxians very carefully." "What do we know about them?" Min-soo asked, his expression becoming serious. "Not very much, sir. They are powerful and expansionist. They have conquered dozens of smaller species. And they—" Woojin swallowed nervously. "They are planning to test humanity's resolve with a border incursion. They want to see if we are as strong as we appear to be." Ji-won groaned. "Already? We just finished one war. Can we not have a little peace?" Min-soo's expression did not change. He had expected something like this. "Contact Captain Choi Sung-min immediately. Tell him to prepare the Ghost Fleet for deployment. And get me everything we know about Kalrith military tactics, strategies, and technology." "Sir?" Woojin asked nervously. "Are we going to war again?" "No, Lieutenant," Min-soo replied. His smile was cold and grim. "We are going to provide another education. The Vraxians learned that humanity does not lose wars. The Kalrith are about to learn that we do not lose peace either." He looked out at the ships being built, human and alien workers cooperating. Species that had never trusted each other before now working side by side. The new galaxy that humanity had helped create from the ruins of the Vraxian Empire. It was not perfect. There were still problems. There were still conflicts. But it was better than before. Much better. The Vraxians thought the battle was over when they conquered Kepler 442b. Min-soo said quietly. They did not understand that humanity was just getting warmed up. Now the entire galaxy knows the truth. We are not just another species. We are not just another military power. He turned from the window, his expression resolute and determined. We are the species that defines what it means to fight. We are the species that never gives up. We are the species that always finds a way to win. Ji-won nodded. And any species that forgets that lesson gets to learn it the hard way, Min-soo finished. Come on, Colonel. We have work to do. We have a new war to prevent, or if necessary, to win. They walked together through the halls of Prometheus Station. Behind them, through the windows, the galaxy stretched out in all its vast beauty. Billions of stars, trillions of planets, countless species living their lives, and somewhere out there someone was watching, someone was planning, someone was thinking that maybe, just maybe, they could defeat humanity, that maybe the stories about human strength were exaggerated, that maybe humans could be beaten. They would learn. They always did. Because humanity never stopped being ready, never stopped being vigilant, never stopped being prepared for the next threat. The Vraxians had learned their lesson. They had learned it the hard way. They had learned that you never, ever attack humanity unless you are prepared for total war, unless you are prepared to face an enemy that has spent thousands of years perfecting the art of combat. Now the Calreth would learn the same lesson. And after them, whoever came next, and after them, whoever came after that, one by one, every aggressive species in the galaxy would learn, because humanity did not lose wars. Humanity did not surrender. Humanity did not give up. These were not just words. They were simple facts, as true as the laws of physics, as reliable as gravity. The galaxy was entering a new era, an era where humanity stood as the guardian of peace, not because they wanted power, not because they wanted to rule, but because someone had to stand up to bullies. Someone had to protect the weak. Someone had to make sure that species like the Vraxians could never rise again. And humanity had proven they could do it. They had proven they had the strength. They had proven they had the will. They had proven they had the wisdom to use their power responsibly. It was a heavy responsibility. The weight of an entire galaxy resting on human shoulders. But humanity would carry it. They would do their best. They would make mistakes, certainly. But they would learn from those mistakes. They would adapt. They would improve, because that is what humans do. That is what makes them special. Not their technology, not their weapons, but their determination, their refusal to quit, their ability to overcome any obstacle. The Vraxians had thought the battle was over. They were wrong. Humanity had been just getting warmed up. And now the galaxy would never make that mistake again. The message had been sent. The lesson had been taught. And every species in the galaxy had received it loud and clear. Never underestimate humanity. Never think they are weak. Never believe you have won until the war is truly, completely, absolutely over. Because if you do, you will learn what the Vraxians learned. You will discover what it means when humans stop holding back. You will see what happens when the sleeping predator wakes up, and by then it will be too late.